Good morning and thank you for attending this briefing. You'll bear with me, it is a bit lengthy because it covers two proposed amendments and one motion. I'll put all of them in one statement. Today I bring to your attention matters of significant national. One is the need for accountability and transparency in utilization of public funds allocated to critical infrastructure projects. In this regard, I will be tabling in Parliament a motion calling for a special audit by the Auditor General within the State Department of Water and Roads. And secondly, a proposed amendment to the Public Finance Management Act. I will also be tabling in Parliament a proposed amendment to the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015, which is aimed at promoting fairness, accountability, and good governance in public procurement process. Allow me now to outline the key aspects of these amendments and motion and why they are crucial for our nation's progress at this particular time. I'll start with the proposed amendment to the Public Finance Management Act, PFM. The key objectives of the proposed amendments are, first, number one, to promote transparency by ensuring that all funds allocated for projects in the national budget are directly deposited into a specific designated bank accounts linked to those projects. Number two, to enhance accountability. AIE holders and accounting officers responsible for adhering to the strict use of funds for approved projects only. Number three, to deter corruption and mismanagement. Introduce stringent penalties, including financial recoveries, suspension, and imprisonment for any individual or institution found misusing public funds. Number four, to improve efficiency in public resource utilization. This will streamline fund management to ensure timely implementation of projects and eliminate delays caused by financial management. Number five, to strengthen oversight mechanisms. This will enhance the roles of Controller of Budget, Auditor General, and other oversight bodies through improved reporting and monitoring systems. The key beneficial changes of the amendment are as follows. Number one, project-specific bank accounts. All funds from the Treasury will now be directed to accounts dedicated solely to the implementation of specific projects. This ensures that funds are not misdirected or misused. Number two, real-time monitoring. A digital platform will be developed to track the usage of project-specific accounts with data accessible to oversight bodies and the public, including the media. Number three, stringent penalties. Non-compliance will attract severe penalties, including financial recoveries amounting to 150% of misused funds, suspensions from public service, and imprisonment of up to 5 years. Number four, improved transparency. Monthly expenditure reports from ministries and sagas will be made publicly available to promote transparency and citizen engagement. Number five, community confidence. Citizens will gain confidence that allocated public funds are used for their intended purposes, fostering trust in government processes. Number five, capacity building. Regular training for AIE holders and accounting officers will ensure they are well equipped to manage funds in line with the amended PFM Acts. In brief, that's the background of the first proposed amendment to the Public Finance Management Act. Maybe at this point I could give you a copy of that particular act as we proceed. Those are three copies, but I have some in soft. I'll send you the soft copies. So the second one is a motion on special audit on the utilization of exchequer release in the State Department of Water and Roads. I'll give a small background and context of the motion. Over the years, concerns have been raised regarding the management of funds allocated to public projects in Kenya. Reports of misapplication, diversion, and even embezzlement of public funds have become alarmingly common. These malpractices often lead to stalled projects, accumulation of pending bills, and ultimately poor service delivery to Kenyans. The State Department of Water and Roads, which are essential for socio-economic development, have not been exempt from these challenges. Despite budgetary allocations, many projects remain incomplete or fail to meet their intended objectives. As public servants, we must demand accountability for every shilling spent on behalf of the Kenyan people. I'll give a scope of the motion. The motion I will table seeks to direct the Auditor General to undertake a special audit focusing on the following areas. Number one, budget allocations and disbursements. This will cover verification of funds allocated to specific projects within the State Department of Water and Roads from 2019 to 2020 financial year to date. Secondly, confirmation of amounts disbursed and received by these departments. Then there's also utilization of funds. The audit will determine how funds were utilized, and also identification of cases of misapplication, diversion, or embezzlement of public funds. Then the audit should also cover project progress. Under project progress, we like an assessment of percentage completion of the specific projects, and also an evaluation of whether the funds utilized reflect the progress and value delivered by these projects. Then on the pending bills, the audit will examine the pending bills accrued during the period under review, and also an analysis of the causes behind the unpaid obligations. Why this motion? And why this motion matters? This motion is not just about auditing accounts. It is about protecting the interest of the Kenyan people. The proposed audit will, among others, enhance accountability in the management of public resources, shed light on how funds meant for critical infrastructure have been utilized, uncover inefficiencies, mismanagement, or corruption, and propose actionable recommendations. And also it will also help restore public confidence in government institutions by ensuring transparency and responsible resource utilization. That's a brief background. Then now we go to the proposed amendment to the public procurement and disposal. As this amendment seeks to enhance fairness and transparency in the termination of public procurement contracts. The background and rationale. Public procurement plays a vital role in the delivery of services and development projects in Kenya. However, disputes arising from termination of procurement contracts often results in lengthy legal battles, project delays, and financial losses. The proposed amendments aim to, number one, promote national justice. This will ensure that contractors and suppliers are treated fairly and accorded an opportunity to be heard before contracts are terminated. Number two, it will enhance accountability. By this, the mandate of the Solicitor General to confirm that due process has been followed before advising on contract termination. Because every contract before it is terminated, the procuring entity has to write to the Solicitor General to give an opinion. So we want to mandate the Solicitor General to confirm that the due process has been followed before he gives his opinion on any termination. Number three, the amendment will align the Constitution. It will align with the constitutional principles. It will uphold the right to fair administrative action as enshrined in the Constitution under Article 47. It will reduce litigation costs. This will minimize disputes arising from claims of unfair contract terminations, saving public resources, and ensuring timely project completion. Because once a contract has been terminated, if a contractor or a supplier feels that he has been terminated unfairly, he's going to go to court. Through that legal process, you find that if the process is not fair, the government will stand to lose a lot of money. So these are things we're trying to streamline. The key provisions of the amendment. The proposed changes will include, number one, confirmation by Solicitor General. Before providing advice on termination, the Solicitor General must confirm the following: that the contractors or suppliers have received written notification specifying the reasons for intended termination. Again, the contractors and suppliers will be granted 14 days to respond to the notice. And the termination process, before it is done, it will adhere to principle of natural justice and due process. Number two, another provision, void terminations. Any termination that does not comply with these requirements will be deemed unenforceable. Then on the regulatory guidelines, the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority will issue detailed guidelines to standardize termination processes across all procuring entities. Now the benefits of the amendment, just to conclude on this one, fairness. Contractors and suppliers will have greater confidence in the integrity of procurement processes. Number two, on efficiency, it will reduce disputes which lead to fewer delays in project implementation. Number three, good governance. Reinforces Kenya's commitment to accountability and transparency in public service. So that's the brief on the proposed amendment to the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act. And there are copies here. I'll also give you the soft copies. So, ladies and gentlemen, having given a background on all those three amendments, I'd like to give a call to action on stakeholders and my colleagues on all the three amendments. I'll start with the proposed amendment to the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015. I urge stakeholders, including my colleagues, members of parliament, procuring entities, contractors, and civil society, to support this amendment. By working together, we can strengthen the public procurement framework and ensure that it serves the best interest of the Kenyan people. This amendment reflects our commitment to upholding the rule of law, fostering trust in government processes, and safeguarding public resources. I'm confident that its adoption will mark a significant step forward in the management of public procurement in Kenya. On the motion for specific audit and utilization of exchequer release in the state departments of water and roads, I equally urge my colleagues in Parliament to support this motion when it is tabled. Additionally, I call on all Kenyans to stay engaged in this process and demand accountability from their leaders. The fight against corruption and inefficiency requires the collective effort of all of us, citizens and leaders alike, including the media. Let us remember that every shilling misappropriated represents a lost opportunity to improve the lives of Kenyans. Together we can ensure the public
More Radio, 88.2 FM. We are in charge. More Radio, 88.2 FM. We are in charge. More Radio, 88.2 FM.